Okay, this is Dr. Jane, and I'm here for Langdon Park School. I'm going to help you with some revision for paper one. If you know these videos, I've kind of rearranged my office, so now that you can see all my books and everything behind me. Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about how to answer every question on paper one, English language, AQA GCSE, and then I'm going to talk in the next video about how to carve up the source, and then I'm going to talk about question 2 and question 3 and question 4. Okay, so right away we start. I just want to remind you, this is a creative writing and reading paper. What we do is we are reading a piece of creative writing, we're analyzing its language and its structure, we're stealing its vocabulary, and then we're creating a piece of writing. So the most important thing we start with is actually just reminding ourselves of the timing and how we answer every question. Okay? So this is absolutely crucial to understanding this paper. So let's just go down. I'm just going to get a little bit closer. Okay, here's what we do. Question 1 is 4 minutes. It's 4 marks. It's 4 minutes. Nothing. Students who spend 10 minutes on this question, they're in a lot of trouble. It's very comfortable. There's nothing more that you need than information extraction for simple short sentences. If you're spending more than 4 minutes on this, it's a big problem. Question 2, language analysis. It's 8 marks, so it's double the marks already, but you need to spend significant amount more time because you have to write a full response. What you do is they'll give you a passage from the extract, so you don't actually need to read the whole extract yet. And what you're trying to do is capture 3 or 4 key language features that are relevant to the question. Then you build 2 paragraphs. In our traditional language analysis structure of a paragraph, that's the point, evidence, zoom into a word, language analysis, crucial after the analysis explaining what's actually going on. How does this actually show what you're saying it shows? And then finally the advanced step, which is devices and effects. So what device is being used and what is the effect? If you can do that in 2 paragraphs, you're in a good place. Question 3 is structure. And please notice, we're giving it an enormous amount of time, 19 minutes, even though it's worth the same amount of marks as language analysis. This is a really tricky question because a lot of what you've come to understand as analysis involves a language analysis, and this is not language analysis. This is looking at structural analysis. At its very basic, structural analysis means the opening, there will always be some kind of shift, some moment in the text where there's a change, and then the ending. I think if you're a little bit more advanced, you can look at things like time shifts, flash forwards, flashbacks, patterns, things that are reflecting how and why the writer put this text together this way. So you need to actually read the whole extract. That's why it takes 19 minutes. So you should figure out how long it takes you to read a whole passage for comprehension. Hopefully, it would take you between 7 and 8 minutes, and that puts you in a situation where you write 2 paragraphs as you did above for the language analysis. Since you've already written about the opening in question 1 and 2, hopefully you have something to say there. I can show you later in the next video how to use question 4 as a trick, as a way of cheating question 3, and you will always be able to talk something about the ending, hopefully. The real main things to think about again are no language analysis, discuss the reasons why a writer structures a piece of writing in a particular way, and the kind of effects it has on you as a reader. Why are certain details given at a certain point? Question 3 is really tricky, but once you get a handle of it, you should be able to move through it swiftly. Now, if you are a good or notable mathematician, you notice that 4 plus 8 plus 8 equals 20. All of questions 1 to 3 equal question 4. Question 4 is incredibly important and odd. It is worth 20 marks, as I said, and you need 25 minutes to do it. Again, it's a specific range. It's from a certain line to the end. There'll be a statement that you're encouraged to agree with. The statement's made up of 3 parts, and we'll go through that in the question 4 video. You have to break that question down into those 3 constituent parts. The most important part is the evaluate. Can you figure out what's being asked of you to figure out how true or wrong something is, to weigh up different perspectives, and to be able to make a comment on it, and to justify your opinion using language, structural analysis, all the things you've done earlier in the paper, but really give a personal opinion as to why something may be the case, to really give evidence, rich, relevant evidence to help support your ideas, and then push that thinking a little bit further. Question 4 is very tricky, and we're going to need to spend a bit of time on that. And definitely, you're going to need to spend, if you're interested in getting a strong pass or into the top end, you definitely need to work on that as soon as you can. You need to memorize how to do these tasks, but question 4 is the one you really need to practice. Finally, for the last 45 minutes, you have a writing task. Now, please notice, questions 1, 2, 3, 4, all combined equal 40. And that's exactly what question 5 is worth. So if you're a real gamer, you understand that question 4 and 5 is the whole paper. Well, question 5 is a description and a narration, but of course we understand that narration is the one, telling a story is the one that is more interesting, more engaging, and not as simple as some of the other things you could do in description. You know, they really don't like, examiners nor readers like descriptions of the 5 senses. It's ridiculous. The thing you really got to consider for writing, of course, is that writing is a process, and it involves planning, which is 5 minutes. This one thing, planning, is something you have to spend a lot of time doing over the course of this year. Reading and generating little ideas in quick amounts of time is something you have to train your brain to do. It won't happen spontaneously. It's something like exercise. And if you do it all throughout the year, almost every day, when you come to a situation like the exam, you'll be able to brainstorm ideas quickly, steal vocabulary from the source, think about a really quick, sparky idea, and you'll be able to structure it. What's the structure? Well, I generally mean the classic story structure. Something of an opening, something of an exposition, a conflict that comes to its climax, and then finally to its resolution. That very simple structure, which doesn't need to be 4 paragraphs, it could be 6 paragraphs, it could be as many as you want, really, but generally follows that structure. Please notice that's the same thing you were asked to analyze in question 3. So the more you understand that this paper is linked, the better both sides of it get, both the reading and the writing. The writing should be 35 minutes, and of course the editing is really crucial because 16 marks for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. A very rude and mean exam for that particular reason, something we drop, but you should really work on trying to up your skills. And more importantly, you should be reading your writing. I have to read your writing apparently, and I think some of it is just tragically boring. And you have to stop being boring. You have to write about things that matter to you, things that touch your heart, things that reach into your imagination. You have to use the text and its vocabulary to make me not be so bored. You have to not have machine guns. You have to not have mobile phones necessarily as the focus. You have to not just have a series of statements, and then this happened, and then this happened. And writing a story is something you have to practice and think about a lot if you want to do well on this exam. Okay, so that's the first video. Again, that was the video where we just reviewed how to answer each question. Of course, you can find this on the inside of your booklet. The timing is religious. It's so crucial. If you're on top of the marks, again, it's all about question 4 and question 5. In the next video, I'm going to show you some tricks on how to carve up the source and find a lot of tricks to already prepare you to do well on this exam.